Chosen one, do not scroll. Stop your thumb right where it is. I am speaking to you, not to the person beside you, not to the 1,000 others who will hear these words and think they were meant for someone else. To you. You did something recently that no one applauded. You held your tongue when you had every right to speak. You had the winning sentence loaded. You had the proof. You had the receipts, the memory, the exact words they said that you could have thrown back at them like stones. And you didn't. You let them have the last word. You let them walk away believing they had won. And in the silence afterward, something in you felt small. Something in you whispered that you had lost, that you were weak, that you should have defended yourself. Chosen one, hear me clearly. What felt like losing was the exact moment heaven activated something over your life that most people never unlock in 70 years of living. You did not lose that argument. You passed a test. And the reward is already moving. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes I am going to tell you exactly what you triggered, exactly what is being restored, and exactly what happens in the days directly ahead of you. But I am not going to tell you all of it at once. Some of what I have to say to you, you are not ready to hear yet. You will be, by the middle of this message. First, comment 777 below. Not as a ritual, not as superstition. Do it because when you type those 3 numbers, you are agreeing out loud with what heaven already decided about you in private. And agreement is how a blessing moves from the unseen into the visible. You surrendered in silence. Now say yes in public. That is the exchange. Understand something. You did not find this message. This message was placed in your path. Everything about the last several days, the timing, the conversation that wounded you, the sleep you lost replaying it, the exact second your thumb slowed down and stopped on this video. All of it was orchestrated. You were routed here. There were 100 other things the algorithm could have shown you. It showed you me. That is not coincidence. That is escort. Now let me tell you what actually happened in that room. You believe the conflict was about who was right. It was never about that. The words on the surface were never the real conversation. Beneath the words, there was a question being asked of your spirit, and only you and I heard it. The question was this: will you protect your peace, or will you protect your pride? Because they cannot both survive the same room. Pride and peace cannot occupy the same house. One always evicts the other. And in that moment, the moment you swallowed the sentence that would have ended them, you chose which one lives in you. Do you understand how rare that is? Most people spend their entire lives defending a version of themselves that no one is even attacking. They argue not for truth, but for territory. They fight not to be understood, but to be undefeated. And the whole time they believe they are pursuing what is right. That is the great disguise, chosen one. Ego rarely announces itself. Ego does not walk in wearing a crown and saying, "I am here to make this about me." Ego walks in wearing the clothes of righteousness. It says, "I just want the truth." It says, "I'm only being honest." It says, "Someone has to say it." Ego is the only sin that quotes scripture on its way in. And you saw it. That is what I want you to grasp. In that moment, you saw the difference between what was true and what was merely yours. You recognized that you could be right and still be wrong for the room. That single act of recognition, that is spiritual maturity. That is not learned in a classroom. That is forged. And heaven does not ignore what is forged in silence. Now, I told you I would tell you what was activated. I am going to, but not yet. Because there is one more thing you need to understand about that moment. And if I give you the reward before you understand the cost, you will spend it carelessly. So stay with me a little longer. Chosen one, let me describe you to yourself, so you know I see you. You have a mind that works too fast. You see the flaw in the argument before the other person finishes the sentence. You have always been able to do this. It is a gift I placed in you, and it has also been the thing that has isolated you. You have been called too intense, too much, too sharp. And so you learn to sharpen yourself further, because if they were going to call you that anyway, you might as well be excellent at it. But lately, something has been changing in you. Lately, winning has stopped tasting like it used to. You have noticed it. You win the argument and you walk to your car and you feel hollow. You prove the point and then you sit in the quiet and wonder why the victory feels like grief. You have started to notice that being right and being at peace are not the same road. And for the first time in your life, you are willing to consider that peace might be the better one. That shift did not happen by accident either. I have been working on you, slowly, patiently, through every conversation that went nowhere and every relationship that cooled and every night you replayed a discussion at 2 in the morning trying to construct the perfect response you never got to give. I was not punishing you in those seasons. I was preparing you for the moment you just passed. And you passed it. If this is landing on you, if you are feeling the truth of it in your chest rather than just hearing it in your ears, take 1 second and like this video and subscribe so that I can keep reaching you. There is more coming to you through this channel in the days ahead, and I do not want you to miss the next word because a machine decided you were not paying attention. Tell it you were. Now let me tell you what you activated. Chosen one, when you released the need to be right, you released a hand. Understand this. As long as your hand is closed around an outcome, I cannot place anything in it. That is not a punishment. That is physics of the spirit. A closed fist and an open palm cannot exist at the same time. And for years, your hand has been closed around a particular situation, a particular person, a particular version of how things were supposed to go. You were holding it because you believed that if you let go, they would win, that the record would show you in the wrong, that the story would be told without your side in it, forever. So you held on. And while you held on, I stood beside you with something in my hands that I could not give you. The moment you let go, your palm opened, and I have already placed it there. There is a specific reward attached to what you did, and it is not vague. It is not one day, somehow, in some way. It has a category. It has a name, and the name is restoration, not victory, not vindication. Restoration. Vindication would have given you a moment. Restoration gives you a life. Here is what that means practically, and I want you to listen to this part carefully, because it will begin showing up faster than you expect. A relationship you had written off as finished is going to move. Not because you argued it back to life, because you stopped fighting long enough for it to breathe. Something in that connection has been suffocating under the weight of who was right. You just removed the weight. Watch what grows now that nothing is standing on it. A conversation you have been dreading is going to go differently than you rehearsed. You have played it out in your mind a dozen ways, and every version ends badly. None of your versions account for what I did in the other person's heart while you were being quiet. You will walk in expecting a wall and find a door, and a heaviness you have been carrying in your body, in your jaw, in your shoulders, in the way you have not been sleeping, is going to lift, because you were not carrying a disagreement. You were carrying the weight of being the one responsible for making the truth win. That was never your job. It was always mine. I am the vindicator, not you. You do not have to defend a truth that is standing on its own feet. Truth does not need a bodyguard. Truth needs time. And every time you rushed in to defend it, you were telling me you did not trust me to handle it. When you went quiet, you told me you did. That is the exchange heaven honors most. Not sacrifice, trust. Now, I told you at the beginning that there is something I would not tell you until you were ready. You are closer now. But hold on a moment longer, because before I say it, you need to understand why this particular act mattered so much more than the others. Chosen one, you have done many good things. You have given money you did not have to spare. You have shown up for people who did not show up for you. You have prayed for people who were actively working against you. All of it was seen. None of it was wasted. But this was different, because everything else you gave from a position where you still had something left. This time, you gave up the one thing you thought was yours by right. You gave up being justified. And a person who will surrender their justification is a person who can be trusted with authority. That is the connection you have not made yet. The reason certain doors have not opened for you is not because you were not talented enough. It is not because you were not faithful. It is because authority in my kingdom is never given to someone who still needs to be right. Because the moment such a person is given power, they use it to settle scores. I have been watching for one thing in you, not perfection, not eloquence, one thing. Whether you could hold power without needing to use it to prove something. And in that room, when you had every weapon and chose not to draw one, you answered the question. The promotion is not blocked anymore. That is what activated. Let that land on you. The thing you have been asking me for. The increase, the platform, the responsibility, the open door, the resources, was never withheld out of stinginess. It was held in escrow until you could be trusted not to weaponize it. You just cleared the last requirement. And I want you to hear the timing of this, because it matters. Heaven did not schedule your reward for some distant year. The response was immediate. In the moment you closed your mouth, something opened. There was movement in the unseen the same hour. Records were adjusted. Assignments were reissued. A door that had been locked was unlocked while you were still sitting in the discomfort of feeling like you had lost. You felt defeated at the exact moment you were being crowned. That is how it always works with me. The feeling and the reality run on different clocks. Do not let your feelings report the score. They are not qualified. Now, chosen one, I need you to prepare for something, because the reward comes with a test attached to it. And if I do not warn you, you may fail it in the first week. Here it is. Very soon, someone is going to hand you the opportunity to be proven right. Information will surface. A witness will speak up. A circumstance will unfold that makes it undeniable that you were correct all along, and the person who dismissed you will be standing there exposed. And in that moment, you will feel a pull, a hot, familiar, delicious pull to say the 4 words you have been saving. I told you so. Do not say them. I will handle the correction. Your job is to be the person in the room who does not need it, because here is the deeper thing, and this is the part I have been holding back. The blessing that is coming to you is not just for you. It is going to flow through you to someone else, specifically to the very person you released. You are being positioned to be the answer to a prayer they have not admitted they are praying. That is why the peace mattered. That is why I needed the bridge intact. You cannot carry water across a bridge you burned to prove a point. You almost burned it. You didn't. That is why heaven celebrated. Chosen one, hear me on this. You are not soft. You are not a doormat. You are not passive. There is a lie that says humility is weakness, and I want it torn out of you tonight. It takes no strength at all to say the cutting thing. Anyone can. A child can. The cruelest people you have ever met are the ones with the least self-control, and the world calls them strong because they are loud. Real strength is having the sword and choosing the sheath. Real strength is being able to end someone with a sentence and choosing to let them keep their dignity instead. That is not weakness. That is restraint. And restraint is the rarest form of power there is, because it is the only power that requires you to be strong twice. Once to hold the weapon, and once to hold yourself. You were strong twice that day. I saw it, even if no one else in that room did. Especially because no one else in that room did. The things you do that no one sees are the things I weigh most heavily. Public goodness gets a public reward. Applause, reputation, the good feeling of being seen. Private goodness has no earthly payment, so I pay it myself. And I pay generously. You have a great deal of private goodness stored up, chosen one, more than you realize. Years of it, things you have forgotten, kindnesses you did not tell anyone about, times you covered for someone who never knew. None of it evaporated. It has been accumulating. And what you did recently was the final deposit that brought the account to the number required for release. You are at the threshold now. So here is what I want from you in the next 7 days. Stay quiet where you have been loud. Not silent. Quiet. There is a difference. Silence is absence. Quiet is presence without noise. Be present. Be warm. Be available. But stop explaining yourself to people who have already decided. You have spent so much energy trying to be understood by people who benefit from misunderstanding you. Reclaim that energy. You are going to need it for what is coming. Second, when the good thing arrives, and it will arrive suddenly in a way that will make you laugh at how easy it was after how hard you tried, do not analyze it into the ground. Do not look for the catch. Receive it like a person who was expecting it, because you were. Third, come back here. This message is not finished. There is a specific detail about what is being restored to you that I have not spoken yet, and it belongs in the next word, I send. If you do not stay connected to this channel, you will miss it, and you will spend weeks trying to figure out on your own what could have been given to you in 10 minutes. Do not wander off now, not this close. Chosen one, let me leave you with this. You were not brought to this message to be corrected. You were brought here to be confirmed. You have been carrying a quiet fear that your humility was actually cowardice, that letting it go meant you had given up, that the silence meant you did not matter enough to fight for. That fear is a lie, and I am ending it right now. You mattered so much that I did not want you spending another year defending a small thing while a large thing waited for you. The argument was small. What I am giving you is not. You let go of the need to be right. And in that exact second, heaven activated the reward tied to peacemakers. Not the ones who avoid conflict, but the ones who walk into it and choose to leave it better than they found it. Blessed. That is the word attached to your name right now. Not tolerated, not pending, blessed. Now go and live like someone who already won. If this message found you tonight and you know it was not an accident, comment 777 so I know you heard me. Like this video and subscribe so the next word can reach you, because it is already written and it has your name on it. And if these messages have carried you through something, you can support the work behind them by tipping through the link in the pinned comment. Not because heaven requires it, but because what you plant into, what feeds you always comes back multiplied. Do not go far. Chosen one. The next part is coming, and it is the part you have been waiting your whole life to hear.